Hello, Bucknutters, and welcome to the Morning 5 on Wednesday, May 21st, 2014. I am your host, C. Diddy. Dave Biddle. On today's show, we're going to talk about Big Ten Commissioner Jim Delaney's big win in terms of getting Big Ten Network in the New York, New Jersey TV market. We're going to get the latest on Ohio State football recruiting from both Alex Gleitman and Bill Kurelic. And we'll discuss some interesting developments with the salaries of Ohio State's assistant football coaches. When it was announced Rutgers would be joining the Big Ten, a lot of people, myself included, were skeptical that Jim Delaney would be able to entice the cable providers in the New York City, New Jersey market to pay for Big Ten Network. Did Rutgers really move the meter enough in the Big Apple for the cable companies to take a bite? Oh, they bid. It was announced this week that Big Ten Network struck a deal with cable giants Time Warner and Cablevision, with Big Ten Network reportedly scheduled to get at least $1 per subscriber in that market. That's a ton of cash. And Big Ten Network is also reportedly close with the only other major cable provider in the New York, New Jersey market, Comcast. And since Time Warner and Comcast announced a merger earlier this year, I'm guessing that won't be a problem. So kudos to Delaney and the Big Ten Network. The goal of adding Rutgers was to extend the Big Ten's footprint to the largest television market in the country. Mission accomplished. And I do believe Rutgers has potential as a football program. It will take them several years to get there in the Big Ten, but I believe it's possible with the right coach. Read, not current coach Kyle Flood, but bring a guy like Greg Schiano back to Rutgers, and I think the Scarlet Knights could eventually be competitive in the Big Ten. Speaking of New York City, we have someone on the line with the inside scoop on a topic many of you are interested in. Sir, what's your name? What's the name of the show again?
Alex Gleitman here, Bucknuts Morning 5, to talk a little Ohio State recruiting with you on this Wednesday morning. We're going to talk running back situation today for 2015 as news broke from our own Bill Kurelic that Larry Scott of Hubbard, the Ohio product, would be visiting Ohio State with 2016 teammate George Hill and his brother, wide receiver, safety, linebacker Isaiah Scott, another 2015 prospect, on May 31st weekend. And, that's when the NFTC will be coming to Columbus. That's going to be a big-time visitor weekend. But it's a good sign for the Buckeyes that the in-state Scott is coming to campus. Right now, Michigan State holds a big lead for the Hubbard four-star running back, and it looks like a Michigan State commitment could be imminent. Ohio State will certainly try to sway him to push off that decision and continue to consider the Buckeyes as the march through the summer continues. But they're certainly facing an uphill battle, Urban Meyer, Stan Drayton, and the rest of the staff in that task. What I do think will happen, though, and what I'm hearing is that Ohio State is in great shape right now with Damian Harris. I think Damian is someone who will decide, at least at an all-star game, if not National Signing Day. But I think the Buckeyes are in great shape. And right now I see, as things currently stand, and we all know recruiting's fluid, Ohio State landing Damian Harris, Michigan State landing L.J. Scott, potentially Darren Hall from Ohio as well. And then I see Mike Weber, a Detroit Castech product who I once crystal balled to Michigan State, filling in the spot at Michigan that Damian Harris left void when he decommitted. So I think all three Big Ten programs will end up with excellent running backs in this class. And as a Buckeye fan, if the chips fall that way, you can't be upset with getting Damian Harris at the end of the day. But be sure to keep an eye on the L.J. Scott situation as things heat up in the next couple of weeks.
Great stuff, Alex. I know a lot of people have been curious to hear about Larry Scott, and it's good to know you think Damian Harris has an excellent chance of becoming a Buckeye. We'll keep our listeners posted on the running back recruiting situation, and we'll be discussing this all day on the Front Row message board. You need to be a subscriber to post on the Front Row message board. You need to be a subscriber to read the daily boarding house and all of our recruiting coverage. So if you're not a subscriber, give our free trial a test drive. Now for more on the recruiting front, let's go up to the Dean of Ohio State football recruiting, Bill Kurelic.
Last week, Urban Meyer made sure that Canadian defensive lineman Neville Gallimore knew that Ohio State would have an assistant coach up soon to check on him. Well, Larry Johnson didn't waste any time, as Johnson was in Canada on Tuesday checking on the number one prospect north of the border. And in fact, I'm told that the visit Larry Johnson made went very, very well. In fact, I'm told Ohio State is the place that Gallimore is very excited about, and he plans to visit Ohio State as soon as possible. So you can expect that the 6'3", 300-pound Gallimore will visit Ohio State sometime early this summer. Gallimore has 23 scholarship offers now, including Ohio State. His most recent offers came from Oregon and Michigan State, and he is arguably the most highly recruited Canadian prospect ever, and Gallimore has not yet started his senior season, so certainly he is someone to keep in mind moving forward for Buckeye recruiting. He would be an outstanding defensive tackle addition to the Ohio State program.
Thank you, Bill.
O-H-I-O.
Speaking of Larry Johnson, the salaries for Ohio State's assistant coaches were released yesterday, and Johnson will make $400,000 this season and $410,000 in 2015. But the interesting part was Chris Ash's contract. So much for the idea that Ash took a pay cut to come to Ohio State. Including his $70,000 bonus, Ash will make $590,000 this season. That's $40,000 more than he made last season at Arkansas. But Ash will still make a little less than Luke Fickell, who is slated to make $600,000 next year. We're still hearing from numerous sources that Ash will have final say when it comes to defensive game planning and play calls this season. But we're also hearing Ash and Fickell have already formed a friendship and work very well together. Hopefully this will be the perfect mix for the Silver Bullets. Thanks for joining us for the Morning Five, and have a great day, Bucknutters.